Hi, gorgeous Taurus family. So excited to sit down and talk with you today because a message came through with me that I really like for you, and I'm excited to just get to sit in your energy for June for a minute because it's special, and I think it's a unique energy in the month as far as different signs are concerned. The note. Let's talk about this note, is invite the excitement. Can you feel it on the wind? Listen in for it. Utilize your grounded Venus energy to create magic. So you are one of the signs that's got a little bit of this manifesting energy going on. You've got the grand water trine is doing some beautiful things at the beginning of this month. So we have Jupiter in Scorpio, we have Venus in Cancer, we have Neptune in Pisces. They've been having, conversations. This has been ongoing, but one of the things to listen in for the first half of this month is you have a few more months. You have 5 or so months left of Jupiter and Scorpio, your opposite sign, right? 5 more months of this relationship energy that you can utilize. So this is going to be a month where you're going to be wanting to plant some seeds of intention about that. In fact, we have a Gemini new moon in your second house on the 13th of June, along with Venus moving into Leo into your 4th house. So we have some intention setting going on with that new moon and the energy that's moving around there for manifesting what you want when it comes to the things around you in your life and also your home environment. So, with that in mind, with the last months of Jupiter in Scorpio, it's something to just check in with, right? And of course, as we hit Cancer season, you're going to be feeling even more in the flow because, Cancer is this 3rd house energy for you. It's very communicative. It flows with you a little bit easier than I think Gemini energy tends to. So Cancer is a nice month for you all. And, we have some shifting. We have some shaking going on with that, with the solstice. That's such a sacred time of year. We all have a check-in point. That's one of the big things that's coming up. June is a check-in point. The second half of the year, we're starting to herald it in, and so it's always a good place to check in, right? And for you, you're checking in where you want to create the magic. I can feel it. It's like you guys have some electricity going on. Now, we have Mars going retrograde in Aquarius on June 26th. Now, that's in your 10th house of what you're doing in the world, what you're building in the world, where you want to take that vision. And so we have another one of these energies that is all about what you want to create next. And we've been talking about this a lot. There's been this slow build. We now have Uranus and Taurus. It's there with you, baby. And we just had that happen, very briefly ago. So June is really the first month where we have our feet planted in this. And for you, this is a big shakeup. I mean, you are transitioning into new territory when it comes to who you are and what you're doing in the world. That is getting a whole big revolution. It's very personal to you. And so you're starting to feel that. And that's part of that electricity and that magic that I'm sensing with you all as you are moving through this energy. We also have a full moon in Capricorn on June 28th, and Capricorn for you is this 9th house energy, right? It's the big expansive picture. You have a lot of big expansive energy meeting you the second half of the month. So once we hit Cancer season, we have a lot about you communicating your ideas, getting in touch. And we also have a lot of you focusing your vision on the big external picture. So, with that being said, how we're going to do this week, we are doing 8 cards to start, and then I will pull a 9th card near the end of the session. I almost dropped everything there with my Cosmic Tarot. I haven't pulled that card yet. I just put the first cards out on the table, and these are how this is going to work. We have 4 cards at the base of this reading. This is the bigger picture. This is where the energies are trying to take you, whether or not you can see it in your day-to-day. It's a little bit more of the cumulative effect. And then 4 cards that are going to be much more about the day-to-day and how to implement your magic. Because, Taurus, you guys have a really special type of magic. Every sign has their They're superpowers. And you have a very strong embodied magic. So you have a deep connection with the energetic system, the beauty of the earth, that charges you up and out. And so we're going to be talking a lot about how to utilize that this month. So let's look at the first 4 cards. Like I said, this is the bigger picture trying to take you to the next stage in your life. We have the 8 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, Death, and the Page of Wands. So, wow. More than anything, I mean, I'm a little surprised, but it does make sense with this Uranus energy just coming right into your sign. It's a new era, and we've talked about this a lot. You guys I've been talking about this with you a lot, how things are shifting around. I know last month inside you were feeling a lot of things, even if people were looking to you to be the anchor or the strength. This month, it's kind of like you're not here to do things for other people. You're not here to hold other people's hands. You're not here to be anything for anybody unless it's something that feels good to you, because you have a very deeply personal shift going on energetically here. You just look at those first 3 cards and you can see what's going on, right? Now, maybe this looks graphic or terrifying, but I don't think it is. Actually, I think there's a sense of relief here when I see these 3 cards together. This is relief. Because what this shows me is you are taking some burdens off of your shoulder. Now, this is a huge theme for June. I don't know what it is about June, but people are just shedding an old skin. Like I said, that solstice check-in point, it whether you're in the southern or in the northern, doesn't matter, hemisphere, that point in the year when the sun is at its most extreme, like when we are tilted at its most extreme, we are checking in with what's really working. And so that is just coming up. And you guys get entrenched in stuff. You feel responsible for things. You get into a routine with things. Fixed sign energy. Believe me, I'm with you. I am also a fixed sign. You get loyally entrenched in something, and then it's difficult to let it go. But here I'm seeing some ease in letting that go. So this solstice check-in energy, this new moon energy, especially for you, you're checking in with that new moon and what's around you and what's working for you on the physical. And, because the 8 of Cups is about walking away, right? You are being an adventurer. You are being invited, and you have been being invited for a while now, to new territory, to new destinations, to new pathways in your life. You have been continually asked to unburden yourself of some things and to look toward the mountains. So the first card out is telling me this again. For some of you, maybe it is about stepping back from certain relationships, certain projects or ventures or ways of putting yourself on the spot, because, this 10 of Swords is exhaustion. It's when you keep almost letting the swords get stuck in your back, right? Because you feel like you need to stick it out. Bull in the bull ring, right? That's a graphic example. But the 10 of Swords kind of has that energy, doesn't it? And, a lot of times for this is just fatigue. If you're tired of just having people talking and coming up with all this stuff and you are just feeling tired, pay attention to that. Anything that's slowing you down, pulling you down, causing fatigue, causing like bone deep fatigue, needs to be looked at this month, because you are getting an invitation. How I was saying the note, invite the excitement. Can you feel it crackling in the air? Because if you're in these quiet moments, you kind of accept that you need this rest and you need to pull back from certain things, and you're listening into the quiet moments. There's a crackling going on with Taurus energy, like a good crackling. A very good crackling. It's that kind of thing where if you listen very carefully, you can hear the hooves of a herd of horses from miles away coming through the earth. That is the feeling. And that's what the Death card is actually about. When you look at this card, he is riding into the sunrise. He's riding into the sunrise. He's riding into a new era. That is really what the Death card is about. And it's interesting that it shows up here. I was saying, Jupiter right now is in the expansive energy. It's expanding your 7th house, your relational house. It's expanding Scorpio energy for all of us. And for you specifically, it's a very personal placement, because our opposite sign is our mirror. Our opposite sign is where we often get our greatest lessons. So, you guys learn a lot from Scorpio energy. even if you don't have a lot of Scorpios in your life. So having the Death card here, it's reminding me that, you where you're putting your energy in relationships is getting a bit of a shakeup. It's getting a bit of a change. And that you've got to embrace this new identity that's been kind of following you around for a little while. It's like it really wants to be your friend, and you can kind of like carefully eyeing it and parsing it out. This month, it's like I feel like there's an excitement here for what that is, and that is this Page of Wands, right? As soon as you can kind of get your head around stepping back from some things, Page of Wands shows up here, right in the sunrise. This sunrise is this Page of Wands. Now, Page of Wands, fire energy. We're starting to have some energy moving into Leo in June. We have energy moving into Leo. We have Mercury moving into Leo on the 13th. We have Venus moving into Leo, your ruling planet, on the 29th. Yes. But more than that, more than just the fire thing, this is creativity. This is a spark ignited. And Taurus, I think, these moments are so good for you, and there's hope here, right? This can be an amazing conversation. This can be an amazing opportunity, to take some action when it comes to what you want to build next. Also, new sparks lit as far as romance, and your close personal relationships. This is sparks. So think about that. What do you want to set on fire and have a nice warm bonfire? And what just leaves you feeling kind of I would rather just go home and go to bed, because I tell you what, the contrast there is going to be really strong this month. It's going to be very clear. It's not going to be subtle whatsoever. So keep that in mind. This isn't going to be a subtle tapping on the window pane. This is going to be the yelling, the calling. You've got to wake up. You've got to make this change. This is not going to be your identity anymore. You have to go through and into the sunrise. It's time for sunrise, you guys, which is really good. I think that's what you wanted. Okay, now the next 4 cards. This is more about, maybe some tools to use. How can we leverage Taurus energy to its greatest effect then if we have this spark being lit and we have this electricity in the air and we have some new beginnings coming in? What do we do? So we have the Ace of Swords, the Empress, the 5 of Swords, and Strength. So that's really interesting. You're showing up in your own reading, first of all. Hey, Empress, and you've got some Leo energy here, and you've got a lot of communication energy. So while we have, like I said, with this 10 of Swords down here, I feel like people do you guys are really good listeners, and I've said this before about you guys, you tend to take in information. You'll sit there and you will take it in. You may not say anything for a minute, or for a while. Maybe you've been watching or listening to somebody around you for a while and just kind of taking in what they're saying, and you're just collecting the information before you make a move. And, I feel like there are people talking at you and wanting to communicate with you and wanting a lot of your energy, and you will give it. But what I'm seeing here, and one of the key things going on here, is that you get exhausted by that. You get exhausted by people always coming to you and chat. And you're kind of like, why are you talking so much? Gemini season has this tendency to bring up in all of us this communicative, chatty energy too. There's a lot of words, a lot of intellect moving around, and we have a lot of air energy around you. Well, Ace of Swords is great. Here's a clarity. Maybe you're cutting through into some really great new territory. Maybe you just have to set a good boundary. A lot of times when I see the Ace of Swords, it's clarifying a boundary that you have. You're showing up in your own reading here, right? So when the Empress, who is all about law of attraction, this is divine feminine energy. So this is about abundance creation via grounding, perceiving, and gratitude. It's the good stuff. This is the heart and soul of life, the Empress, you guys. But when she's combined with the Ace of Swords like this tells me the Empress will sit and watch, take it all in, but she will strike when the iron is hot. She will clarify when it's necessary. And for me, the Ace of Swords, along with the Page of Wands, there's a new beginning here. There's something popping open for you, but it's very deeply aligned with you speaking a truth or setting a boundary or clearing out something or stepping back from something. And the Ace of Swords is a double-edged sword because, not so much double-edged sword, I think it's like you could be clearing something out or stepping back from something. You could also be opening up a chapter. There's a lot of abundance here. So you could also, because this was the card that came before, right? This is the overarching goal we have, is to get to Page of Wands this month. You could also be opening up a big opportunity. You could also be opening up a new series of events. Like Ace of Swords is fantastic for getting those wheels in motion. And it can be about romance. It can be about love. It can be about passion. So there is an opening while releasing, right? If you can create the space in your energetic routine, in the people you're around, then you invite the next thing in. But you know, there is some trouble here because look at this Five of Swords with the Strength card, right? And it's kind of it's funny because it's such a great pattern. I mean, look at this pattern, you know, it's these two strong, beautiful, grounded, fixed sign energies, Taurus and Leo, with this lots of words and thought energy of air around it. But you know, what I'm seeing here, Five of Swords, there's a lot of, like, I sometimes see the Five of Swords as like kind of gossipy, almost like just a lot of talking. Like I said, you know, you guys will kind of watch and listen. If there's a lot of talking going on around you, you'll probably just be taking that in and watching it. The Strength card actually reminds me of that too. Like Strength is really where you're kind of, you hold back, you reserve, you watch. You don't unleash the beast. You don't unleash the lion on everybody. You kind of sit back and watch, right? It's, you know, I feel like there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of people around you. This comes up for you, Taurus, and I think it is because you lend a solid, grounded ear to people. So it tends to attract in a lot of people who like to talk a lot and who like to bring in some drama and who like to just get all in their heads. So you have that around you, and you may even be tempted to get in on some of the more paranoid thinking of maybe somebody around you. Some nervous thinking. You know, Five of Swords for me, it's like you don't trust yourself or you don't trust somebody else around you. You kind of don't trust a situation. How do you read it, right? Who do you trust? How do you read it? I'm not saying there's backstabbing going on, despite the fact that we have the Ten of Swords. But what I am saying is that sometimes a lot of talking, a lot of like that nervous energy around you will bring out the nervousness in you. And it will unground you and it'll unmoor you. And, you know, honestly, this Five of Swords makes a lot of noise. A lot of times this is somebody who just loves gossip and drama. You know, somebody who's really addicted to that cycle. But when that is the noise around you, it is hard to hear the crackling that I'm seeing for you, this passionate crackling going on, because in reality, what do we have? We have beautiful fire energy around you. We have beautiful renewal energy. You know, the Strength card for me is, I'm obviously going to be biased here. I have a couple Tauruses in my life that I love dearly, and I feel very much that they are my teammates and they are the people in my life that I can trust the most. And so I think there's a lot of really good energy here. I think this is another way to leverage your magic this month. You have the Empress and you have Strength, right? And you have all this air energy around you trying to take your energy. But these two cards, these two energies are all about the divine feminine. They are all about sitting back a little bit and distancing yourself from all that air sign noise. That's where you're going to hear the crackling, and the real calls for you that have to do with this rebirth and this spark being lit and this sunrise coming in aren't going to be these swords. It's going to be in this magic right here. So pay attention to that, because it's tempting. It's tempting when the thing that's making the most noise is tempting to listen to. So that's just around you. And like I said, I think it's just because of your nature and the fact that you are very loyal and caring and good listeners. And just people are a little nervous. People are fragile. June is a very fragile month. It's a check-in month. It's very real. It's very raw. There's a lot coming up in general, collectively. So, you know, you guys have that solid, grounded feeling and people like it. They want to be around it. Now, I'm pulling the final card for this month to override this whole thing from my Cosmic Tarot. I'm waiting for it to show. It flew out. Ten of Swords again. Okay, this is a terrifying card. It's a little intense. It's a little intense. I'm actually just going to put it down here because we already had, okay, you guys, big message here. Big message here. You are your number one priority. You are your number one priority. Ten of Swords is not that scary, honestly, even though those cards are so graphic. I don't even want to put them on the screen, honestly, because sometimes I think, if you just keep reiterating something intense, it doesn't do anything good. What the Ten of Swords is, let's have a real mini chat here about Ten of Swords before we close out today, because everybody gets freaked out by this card. It's one of the more intense ones, but the thing is, it's the closeout of an energetic cycle. Tens are culminating energy. They're the end and beginning. And Ten of Swords specifically is about emotional, intellectual, mental exhaustion. Somebody who's been talking a lot, gabbing a lot, and using a lot of your energy. Energetically exhausted, right? And the call, really, when you get the Ten of Swords in a reading, is that's got to go. It's finished. Whatever it is that you're giving of your time and your energy is finished. There is a call for you to turn away and look toward the sunrise. Listen in for the crackling. Don't listen in for the noise. That's a huge thing for you guys. You kind of have the two choices. You have the two lenses that you can be looking through this month, and it will be tempting to get sucked into some of this drama or some of this intensity, or it's like a lot of times the Ten of Swords shows up, it's like a specific couple people or a person that are really taking your energy and draining you. And, you want to help. They don't even have to be vindictive or evil or have it out for you. They can just be very exhausting to be around. And, you sometimes just have to step back from those people, right? That's going to be a superpower for you. Because in that, you're kindling your own flame, you're taking care of it, you're taking care of your energy, and therefore you're much more in alignment with this rebirth and this new spark and this new opportunity and this abundance that's coming in. And that's the real story here. So don't let these airwaves, these crackling airwaves, get in the way of what I think is going to be a beautiful month for you guys. Check out Jill Sands. I'm sitting here with her gorgeous artwork. She has this gorgeous Gemini painting here. And I will leave her Instagram and website below, as well as PinkLune. I am loving these stalactites. I don't know if she will still have a couple pairs of these. She may in her store. These are all one-of-a-kind things, so there's only a limited times you can get these. I'm very lucky that I got some of the stalactites, so 15% off. We'll leave all her Etsy store information and the promo code below. And of course, get in touch with me at the SARAHTAROT on Instagram. I love you. I love the adventure we have over there on Instagram. I'll also leave my website and email. I do private readings, so we can work in Skype, on the phone, pre-recorded readings. There's a lot of ways we can go. I'd love to hear from you. Have a beautiful June. Check in, listen in. The magic is all around you. You already have it. Don't let other people dull that down. And I will see you in July.